Hey everybody, this is Casey Ferris. Thanks for checking out another video of mine here on the YouTube. Today I wanted to give you guys just a quick little tip for doing color in Resolve. This is something that I've touched on in previous videos, but I wanted to do a specific little quick tip type of video for it. Because this tip is more useful than a toddler leash. And anybody who's been around a toddler knows what I'm talking about. So let's do it. Here I have a shot. It looks like this. Ooh, cool. And I have a couple nodes going on here. The first is a primary correction node. This is some boost in the saturation, pushing up in the gain, down in the lift a little bit to give this a nice initial primary grade. I have a little curve on it here to give it some contrast, and it's looking pretty nice. This is a pretty normal looking shot, isn't really stylized or anything like that. So let's say I want to add some style to this. I'm gonna put a LUT on here, and this is kind of one of those lifted shadows, hipster looking LUTs. So here's normal, and here it is with the LUT. It's a pretty strong grade. Oftentimes, you'll find yourself in a situation where you'll have an effect that you'll want to just kind of dial back a little bit. And this really works with any type of node. It can be a strong grade like this. It can be anything where you like what it's doing, but you just want it to do it a little less. So I'm gonna show you a way to dial this effect back as a whole. The way we're gonna do that is with the key panel. So towards the right of all your little buttons down here is the key icon. And under here we have a bunch of little sliders that are probably really confusing, and honestly, most of the time, you probably don't need to pay attention to them. But this one right here, key output gain. This thing is a beast. Here's why. This is essentially the strength of your node, or like the opacity of your node. And so whatever you do in this node, you can dial it back as a whole just with this number. So look what happens when I roll to the left here. You see it fades that effect down. So at 0, it's nothing. If I double click, it'll reset it back to 1. So what's cool is I can have a really strong effect on this node, and then I can just dial it to taste right here. Let's say I just want a little bit of that hipster feeling without going too insane. I can dial that back. This gets especially useful if you have a bunch of stuff going on. Like let's say I want to make this really warm. I want to cool down the shadows a little bit. Do something like this. Saturate it up, make a new node. You know, I can make my own really strong look. And if I say, man, I really like this, but I want it to be about half that strength, I could go in and take this curve down a little bit. I can go back and say, all right, I'm gonna do 53, and I'm only gonna push this 0.2 to the red and 0.2 to the blue. That becomes pretty miserable. I can go to each of these nodes, go to their key output, and maybe say 0.5 and 0.5, and have that whole look dialed back to half with just one slider. I can even keep these at 1, select both of these, right click, and say create compound node, and dial them all back as a group in that compound node. So that's really a slick way to work. So you can do some really advanced stuff just using this key output gain. It's very, very useful, and I use it all the time. By the way, if you guys want to check out that LUT I was using, it's called Laney. It's from our Heron pack. This is one of our LUT packs designed for drones. It's available now at groundcontrolcolor.com. So that does it for this time. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comments below. If you like this, hit like. And for more color grading tutorials, DaVinci Resolve tutorials, all of those things, make sure to subscribe to my channel here on YouTube. You've been the best. My name's Casey Ferris. I'll catch you next time.